Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lene and I'm a knitter from Norway. And today I thought I'd talk about and share my fall knitting plans. This summer has been like a pre-taste to fall, or all summer long really, so it hasn't really been that hard to get in the mood for fall knitting, because that's been mainly what the summer's been about. I've used all of my fall knits all throughout summer and just thought about fall all summer really. So I'm really excited now to actually be heading into fall. But I've thought a bit about what I want to knit this fall, and I have thought that since we are like heading into the last part of the year and things are gearing up kind of for the end of year, I want to prioritize destashing. I want to get rid of a lot of my stash. I want to use it up before New Year's, or as much as possible before New Year's, so I can start the new year kind of fresh. So that's definitely something that's going to kind of steer me in a direction when I'm choosing what to knit for fall, because I want to knit as much as possible from my stash and buy as little as possible. And I'm also doing quite a bit of gift knitting this fall, and I'm also very into like neutral colors, beiges, browns, greys, white, but also heading into fall I really like the warmer colors. That's why I put on my most like fall-ish sweater today. This is like a really bright orange kind of red sweater, and that also gives me very much fall vibes. I definitely want to knit something in this color as well. And then I hope to knit with something pink maybe, because that's been something that I've been wanting to do all summer and haven't gotten around to. But I thought we could start off with my like definite plans and then move into more of like my dream plans, what I dream of being able to knit and having the time to knit. But here I have like a basket of yarn for projects that I'm like definitely going to do and hopefully be able to do this fall. So we can start with like the gift knits that I'm definitely going to do from this basket. As you can see, it's really dominated with the colors that I talked about. There's some orange, lots of browns and white, but also some darker colors, which I also like as we're heading into like a darker time of year. But first off is this super bright one. It's Drops Nepal in the orange color, and I think it's the same color as this one, just that my Louvre sweater is knitted in Drops Lima. But in this Drops Nepal I'm going to knit my father a zipper sweater. Actually, I'm going to knit the zipper sweater man for my father, so that's quite a big project to start off with. This is going to be his birthday present, and his birthday is in November, so I have to finish it before then. But I think I'm going to start on this pretty soon, and I think that should be plenty of time to finish it. And I'm really excited to be knitting with this color again, because it's a year since last time when I knit this. And I think knitting a zipper sweater, I think this is going to be my 6th zipper sweater, and I think it's going to be really fun to knit it in such a bright color, because the other ones I've knit have been like different shades of blue, and then I've done one pink, but this is definitely the brightest color I've done that with. And I'm really excited to be knitting with such a bright color, and I think that's going to make the process even more fun. And this is as well, this is new yarn. I have the rest of the skeins here, so this is like my one big purchase for fall. So this is not stash yarn, this is brand new yarn, but I'm hoping to keep my fall purchases to just this one project. But that's going to be one of like the main priorities this fall, because that's a gift. And then I have another gift as well, and that's actually stash busting and scrap yarn as well. And that's that I'm going to turn this rest of Drops Flora into a Sophie scarf, because one of my friends really wanted a Sophie scarf in black, and I think this might be a bit too thin a yarn for the gauge, but I think it's going to turn out fine because she just wanted a tiny Sophie scarf to like tie in her hair. So I think this Drops Flora is going to do the job, and that also means that I can just use from my stash instead of also having to buy a mohair or something, because I don't have any black mohair. So I've yet to like try to do a swatch or try starting on it, but I hope that this will work out, because I really don't want to buy any black mohair because I don't knit that much in black. But that's also a prioritized plan, because that's for my friend's birthday, and her birthday is in October, so I have to knit this up before then. But I think a Sophie scarf I could do in one evening if I have the time, so I'm not stressing about it. I'm just going to do it when I'm in a knitting slump or something, because I'm sure a quick project like this would like help me out of that slump. So I'm going to wait this out a little bit so I could use it sometime else. And those are really the two gift knits that I have like definite plans for. I know the yarn, I know who's gonna get it and everything. I'm also doing quite a few other gift knits, but these are like the main two. And then we can move into my selfish knits, which is of course the most fun for me. And first off there we can start with what's been in my stash the longest, and that's the yarn for the Moby sweater by Petiteknit. I'm going to knit the Moby sweater in Drops Charisma and Drops Kid Silk, both in the off-white color, and I am super excited to have a Moby sweater in this off-white color. I think it's going to be stunning. I'm really excited to work on it as well, but the one thing that's been keeping me from casting on is the like crisscross pattern all the way in the front and back, because I find that really tedious to do and my fingers kind of cramp up, and it's just, I don't think it's that fun, but it looks good when it's finished, and I really like the look of the Moby, and I really want like a off-white sweater in that thickness as well this fall. So I really hope to get over like my fear / hatred of that crisscross patterning, so I can just cast on and get on with it. But Charisma plus Kid Silk is quite a warm combination, so this is also not the first thing I'm going to cast on probably, because this would be better later this fall and even heading into winter when we like get snow. I think also this white combination would be really nice when there's snow, because snow is also white. But I would like to have this done late fall, so I have to start on it someday, because I think it's also going to take me quite a while because of that crisscross pattern, because I'm not super quick when I'm doing that. And then another pattern that I have had a yarn for quite some time and not have the guts to cast on is the Porcelain sweater by Lene Holm Samsøe, and I'm going to knit that in Drops Flora and Drops Kid Silk in the color white and in the color denim blue. And I've had the yarn for this for as long as I've had the yarn for the Moby sweater, because I bought the yarn at the same time. And this also is a sweater I really want in my wardrobe, and I think it's so pretty, and I also think it would be really perfect for like early fall, because it's not that thick a sweater, the combination of Flora and Kid Silk. And I also think color work is really nice in fall. Color work always gives me a lot of fall vibes or winter vibes, but especially the porcelain sweater gives me a lot of fall vibes, so I really want to have it this fall. But the one thing that's keeping me from casting on is that I know that you have to do color work on the purl side as well, and I've never tried that before, and I'm really scared to mess it up because I don't do color work that much, and I think it's a lot to keep track of when you're just doing it normally. So doing it on the purl side, I can't even imagine, so that's kind of what's stopping me from casting on. And I know people say it's not as hard as you think it is, but it's still intimidating to me. So I have been waiting, but I think once the fall, we get really into the fall and my fiance starts working a bit less, which he always does in the fall and winter, that this will seem more manageable, because I know for sure that I can't do color work on the purl side when I'm home alone with my son. That's just not feasible. But I really hope I will combat my fear for this pattern and cast on, and I think also I would learn a lot from this pattern, since I almost never do color work, and when I do color work I only do like the one thing, I only do Marius gensere. So I think it would be good for me to challenge myself, but I'm not used to challenging myself that much when knitting, so it's definitely something I have to overcome. But those are like my main plans for myself really this fall, because I've had the yarn for so long and I really want the finished items, and I also really want the yarn out of my stash, because the Moby sweater and the porcelain sweater both take up quite a lot of yarn. So really hoping I'm able to prioritize those and actually do those. But moving into something a lot more simpler, and something I'm probably going to cast on for before the porcelain sweater and the Moby sweater, is the Eva Cardigan. That's the brand new cardigan pattern by Petiteknit, and I've been really obsessed with cardigans the last few months. There's something about it. I don't have that many cardigans in my wardrobe, and I find that the ones that I have gets used a lot, because it's so easy to just take a cardigan and throw it on whatever you're wearing. So I'm really looking to get more cardigans, and lately when I'm looking at patterns on Instagram or wherever, I'm just a lot more drawn toward cardigans, and I think my fall knitting list plans will definitely show that. But first up is the Eva Cardigan. I think Petiteknit just recently released that pattern, and she knit that up in the new Per Gynt colors, and that reminded me that I also have a really, really dark blue yarn in my stash, and this is also 100% wool and the same thickness as Per Gynt, I'm pretty sure. I have not done a swatch yet, so I don't know if this will work out, but I have 9 skeins. I have also not checked how much yarn the pattern takes, but I have 9 skeins, so maybe that will be enough. If that's enough, I would love to eliminate this from my stash as well, because I've had this really dark blue yarn for quite some time now, and I just don't really know what to do with it, because even though I knit a lot with blue, I don't usually knit with this darker color. But after seeing Petiteknit's Eva Cardigan, I really liked how that looked. So I think this is about as dark a color as that is. Maybe this is a bit lighter even, but that kind of convinced me on this color. So if the gauge checks out and I have enough yarn, I would love to turn this into the Eva Cardigan. And I also think the Eva Cardigan looks so cozy to just be able to throw on this fall. It's very basic, but I really love the double ribbed button band, and I would love to add that to my wardrobe because currently I just have 3 cardigans. Hi, I am currently editing, but I just wanted to pop in and say that when I looked a bit closer at the pattern for the Eva cardigan, I realized that the 9 skeins I have definitely won't be enough. And I just couldn't get that pattern out of my head, and I just was thinking about it. So what I ended up doing is I actually went to the local yarn store and treated myself to some Petiteknit. I've never tried this quality before, and it is 100% Norwegian wool, so I'm really excited about trying it out. And it's also the original yarn for the pattern, so I just bought exactly how much yarn the pattern recommended, and then I think I'm going to use the yarn I originally have to make a matching one for my son because the colors are similar enough. So I'm actually super excited to be trying out Petiteknit for the first time, and I'm so stoked to cast on this project, so I'm going to do it as soon as possible. And then when the junior version comes, I'm going to use my stash yarn to make a matching version for my son. So I think it all turned out pretty okay, even though I've already blown the part about only buying yarn for one big project because I'm already at 2, but I'm really super excited about it, so I think that's okay. And speaking about adding cardigans to my wardrobe, I also have been eyeing the Levitate wrap since it came out really, but I haven't had any time to knit it up, and then I've also been unsure of what yarn to knit it up with. But I've looked a bit around in my stash, not done a gauge swatch, but I've found a couple of yarns I think could work out, and I've taken, this is like what I'm sure I want to knit it in, this drops Puna, if this works out that I want to knit it in this, but I'm not sure if I want to knit it with Kid Silk. These colors are not exactly the same. This is peanut and this is beige, so I'm a bit afraid this is a bit too like cold. And I have peanut in baby merino as well, and I've done a gauge swatch with these before, so I know that I like those colors together. Here's that gauge swatch. So I know I like those colors together, but I'm afraid that might be too thick for the Levitate cardigan. And I also think I might like this together, so I have to do a gauge swatch to check if I like the color and to check which of these makes the correct gauge, but and also to see if I have enough yarn. But I do think I would, in either one of these combos, I would really love to have a Levitate cardigan. And I'm trying, when I'm thinking about knitting up cardigans, I'm trying to stay kind of in neutral territory, because I know when I throw on a cardigan, I just throw it on top of whatever I'm wearing and I never button them up. So I want whatever cardigan I make to just go with everything. But those are my main knitting plans and the ones that take priority. And then I also have a lot of knitting plans slash dreams of what I would love to work up this fall. But before that, I also have this list of knits. This is more baby knits because I'm doing another barselgave slash baby shower gift for my aunt that's having twins. So I'm knitting up 2 of everything and in a lot of different sizes. So this is also something that's a priority, but this is more baby knits and there's a lot of different ones. As you can see, I have made quite a few plans, so I hope to be able to knit up most of those plans as well. And then I'll just take yarn from my yarn stash, and hopefully all of these different baby knits will help me de-stash as well, and even possibly help me tackle all of my scrap yarn. But I thought I wouldn't go much more in depth about all these baby knit plans because I'm just going to be knitting patterns I usually knit, so nothing exciting about that really, but this is where a lot of my knitting time is gonna go. But moving into more of my knitting dreams, as I said before, I am really into cardigans, so when I look at different patterns I tend to look at the cardigans, and first up on that list is the April cardigan. I already have an April cardigan that's beige, and that was the first pattern, adult pattern, that I ever knit from Petiteknit. Before that I had only knit patterns like from my own head that I've just come up with, and that was like my introduction into patterns, and that definitely shows. There's a bit of mess up on that cardigan, so I really want to make another one that will fit better and don't have as many mistakes, even though I love the April cardigan I have. And I've also really wanted a black cardigan. Just some occasions you need something black, and it would be nice to have a black sweater or cardigan. And I think the April cardigan suits black very nicely. There's not every cardigan you want to knit up in black or sweater, but I think April cardigan would really suit being black. And I've also looked a bit around in my aunt's yarn stash, and she had a lot of black baby merino, and she said that she doesn't use a lot of black, and she doesn't use a lot of baby merino either. So black baby merino doesn't really get used ever. So I thought I would ask her if I could buy or have some of her black baby merino to knit up the April cardigan, and I want to see if I can make the April cardigan with 2 strands of drops baby merino, because as I said I don't really want to buy any black mohair, and I think it would be nice to have an April cardigan without mohair, because the one I currently have has mohair. But I have to knit up a gauge swatch to see if that works out as well, but that I can do with some of the baby merino I have, because as you can see I have a lot of baby merino. But that's the first kind of plan I have. But there's a lot to figure out before that, so it's not going to be something I cast on before I'm done with all of my definite projects. And then I've also been looking at the champagne cardigan. I've been kind of eyeing the champagne cardigan from afar ever since it came out, because that was my first introduction to the double knitted button band. Seeing that, and I thought that was really cool, and I also like the fit of the champagne cardigan, and that also, like the Eva cardigan, seems like something that would be easy to throw on and comfortable to wear. So I also, if I have the time after I'm finished with all my other plans, I would love to knit the champagne cardigan, but I don't have the yarn for that in my stash either, even though I could probably use this drops lima, but then I would need mohair. But if I'm finished with all my other plans, I think I might let myself buy more yarn as like price, but I don't know which of these dream plans will be the winner for what I buy the yarn for. But definitely champagne cardigan is something that's up there. Then I've also been eyeing the new Jenny jacket Petiteknit has released, the Jenny jacket v-neck. I've really liked the Jenny jacket she currently already had, and the Jenny the Jenny sweater, but there's kind of been something lacking. But now that she has a v-neck jacket that's also knit top down, I really want to knit that one, because I really like the structure of the Jenny jackets, but I would much rather knit top down. And also I just prefer cardigans that's v-neck, as you probably understand from the cardigans I've already talked about, because I just feel like I get more use out of v-neck cardigans. Those are the ones I typically grab for. I think that might be because I never button my cardigan, so when they go all the way up here there's a lot of fabric just flapping around. But definitely the Jenny jacket v-neck I would also love to knit up, but that's a huge project, so I don't know if I have the time this fall, but definitely something I'm hoping to be able to knit sometime. And then kind of my biggest dream in terms of jackets / cardigans is the Dawn to Dusk Shacket by November Knits, I think. No, by tiffknit. My biggest dream to knit of all like cardigans and jackets is the Dawn to Dusk Shacket. I can't exactly remember who designed this, but it is just insane. I've been eyeing this since the test knit, and it's just insane, all the details. It doesn't even look knitted, and I would love to add this to my wardrobe, but this as well seems like a huge project to tackle, and it also takes up a lot of yarn. But definitely something that would be amazing to have both in fall and winter to throw on, and it is like a jacket. And I also think the gauge is, it's like it creates a really thick and sturdy fabric, so I would love to knit this up, and this might be my biggest like dream project because it like ticks up of so many boxes for me, and it's not like anything else I have in my knitted wardrobe or in my wardrobe at all really. So I would love to be able to knit this up, and I really hope to be able to knit it up this fall because I think it would be amazing. But I'm really struggling to find out what kind of yarn I should knit it in and what kind of color, because this is a huge project, so this is going to be like once in a lifetime. I'm not going to knit this multiple times, so I want to make sure that I choose correctly. So that's why I'm kind of putting it off, because I don't want to choose the wrong yarn or the wrong color and then end up with something I don't love as much, because this is a pattern that I really love. It looks so cool, so that's why I'm holding off on that. I also need to buy the yarn, and I'm not trying to do that, but you know, I would buy the yarn for this one if I found out what I wanted to do, because this is such a dream project. But that is all of my like fall knitting plans / dreams when it comes to cardigans. And then I also have a couple of sweaters that I would love to make. As I said before, I'm doing one zipper sweater for my father, but I would also love to do a zipper sweater for myself. I would love to do the zipper sweater light. I have made myself the original one before, and I've made my fiance both the light one and the original one, and I really love the light one he has, and I would love to make that for myself as well, because the zipper sweater I currently have is too warm to wear for a lot of the year. So I would love to have a zipper sweater that I could wear more throughout the seasons as well. But Ullenknitwear also just released her Mamba sweater, and that's also a zipper sweater, but this is a lot more feminine maybe and has a lot more details, and I also like the area around the zipper a lot more, so I think I would prefer to knit this to the zipper sweater light. But even though I think it looks prettier, it also looks a lot more intimidating, especially the area around the zipper, and the zipper is already a really intimidating part on the zipper sweater for me, so I don't know if I'm willing to make it that much more intimidating. But in a dream world I would knit the Mamba sweater, but I don't know if I want to do it because of the zipper, because I really don't like how difficult zippers are for me, and the easy part with knitting up a zipper sweater light is I've knit so many zipper sweaters now, and then I could also match my fiance, so I'm still weighing the pros and cons. But that's the last knitted item I want for myself. And then I also have some accessories I really want to make, because all of my knitting accessories, my needles and buttons and all of that is in quite a mess now, so I want to knit up something to keep that in, and I thought either the honey clutch or the honey wash bag would be the perfect project for that, to put all of my knitting accessories in. And I have knit one honey clutch before, and I didn't love the process of knitting that up, but it wasn't as hard as I had pictured, especially when I got the hang of it. But I don't know if the honey clutch is big enough, or if I have to go for the honey wash bag. I think I have to go for the honey wash bag, especially if I want my needles to also fit. So that's definitely something I want to do, and I hope to be able to use some of my stash for that, and possibly even scrap yarn, because it's kind of a project in that size where you can get away with using not that much yarn. So that's definitely something I want to make. And then I also want to make the Terrazzo bag that Petiteknit just released. I like a lot of her bags, but the Terrazzo bag is the one I've liked the most, because it looks the biggest and the sturdiest, and I just like the look the most. I use a lot of tote bags personally, but there's always just full of a lot of random stuff, so I would love to have a bag that would just be dedicated to knitting, where the honey wash bag could live, and where my current knitting project could live, so it was easy to just travel around with it. So that would also be something I would really like to knit up this fall, the Terrazzo bag, but I don't have any yarn for it. But if I figured out kind of what kind of yarn I could use for it, definitely something I would love to knit up, because I think I would get a lot of use out of it. But that's all of the knitting plans I have for myself, I think. And then, as I said, I have all of the gift knits for the twins, so that's going to take up a lot of my time. And then the time I have left after that, I'm going to spend knitting up a few things for my son, because I just went through his wardrobe, because last month he turned 2 years old, so I removed all of the knitting items in the size 1 to 2 from his wardrobe and put in all of the sizes from 2 to 3 years. So I went through his wardrobe and saw what he had, and I realized he barely has any pants. He has like 15 sweaters in this size for some reasons, and he has 1 pair of pants. So I definitely have to work on at least evening the field a little bit. So I am planning to knit up the Bregnebukse, which, if you've been watching me, I've been talking about knitting him up Bregnebukse since the spring, I think early spring maybe even, but it's just gotten away from me and I haven't had the time, or it hasn't been prioritized. But I'm going to be knitting him up Bregnebukse by Knitting for Olive in this light grey baby merino. So that's going to be one of the pair of pants. And then I'm also going to be knitting him up Willums overalls by Petiteknit. But I don't have the yarn for that, but my son needs pants. He can't only have 1 pair of pants in his knitted wardrobe. So I'm going to get the yarn to make Willums overalls. I'm probably going to knit them in dark grey merino extra fine or something. I usually knit them in light grey merino extra fine, but I'm knitting the Bregnebukse in light grey, and he has so many light grey Willums overalls now, so it would just be nice with a change, I think. But I like to knit them in greys, because that just goes with everything, and that's really easy when it's a pair of pants. because I don't knit that many pants. I have 15 sweaters and 1 pant, so the pants I have has to go with all of the sweaters since I don't knit that many of them. But I think, yeah, and then except from the pants, of course I have to knit him socks and gloves and hats, especially socks and gloves because those just go missing. I don't know what it is about babies and toddlers, but if you put gloves or socks on them, they're just going to disappear even within your own house, and I don't know how that's possible, but they just disappear. So I am anticipating having to knit quite a few pairs of socks and gloves. He has quite a few of socks and gloves now, but as we're heading into like the colder season, I think a few of them might start to disappear, so I'm just ready to knit more. And then I'm probably going to use a lot of my Lima, and then maybe use some of my Drops Baby Merino if I want to knit him thinner socks, or if I want to hold it double or something. But I think that is all of my plans, and then if I have any more time after that, which I'm definitely not going to have, I'm just going to stash bust. That's really all of my fall knitting plans, and I probably have way too many plans. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment, and if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!